Sam Chinedu. Some street traders operating illegally at the Rumokrushi-Rumudara junction on Eliezu Road are pleading with the council to reconsider plans to evict them. Some of the traders told our correspondents they sell by the roadside because they cannot afford shop rent and fear the eviction could push them into unlawful activities. Am I missing something?
Before 4 o'clock, now everybody comot things for road. Everybody even there better than to start from early morning. If you then change people comot for road, wetin they want to, how they want to chop. No, if you afford this shop na almost 1.something million.
Na here I dey try, I dey find the thing why. How many times? You know reach 20,000 and thing why they say. Last year, my daughter wey dey help me, he die for Lagos. We never marry.
Then they come, they never dey better. All when they do, as they use their hand now, comot this now. Thing go hungry. Nothing like say man talk plenty.
I don't have any option. They want me to go on into prostitute. I don't have a man that take care of my children. He's out.
Okay. But the Obio-Akpor local government chairman, Gift Wallo, says his goal is to make the council areas safe, smart, and orderly for everyone.
Our policies against street trading and our policy for people to do their businesses from 6 feet off the road, what they call the right of way. And then this ties to the broader policy of creating a saner and safer Obio-Akpor local government for that matter. And if you go around our local government, you find that places that are designated as markets, for example, the Choba market is empty. There's nobody inside the market trade. But on the roads along Choba, you see everywhere is a market.
Dr. Wale also says he's committed to promoting decency and discipline among residents and traders in the area. Okay, so you have to agree that the business of leadership is a difficult one. Because one of the many things that you will have to deal with, besides the idea of development, is consistently trying to win the popularity contest. And if you try to be liked by everyone, or most people, I can assure you, you will fail woefully. Now, beyond even looking at the emotional side, because I want to talk about the comments of the traders. We could be pushed into crime. If I leave this place, I'll become a prostitute and all of that. Let's look at the reason why there shouldn't be street trading, right? This has nothing to do with whether you support the council, you like the chairman. Just from a development perspective, one, traffic obstruction. If you drive a car in Port Harcourt, if you've driven for maybe 6 months or 1 year, you have definitely driven through a path, a road, where you had to deal with more human traffic than vehicular traffic. Now, this is a road. When we say traffic, you're very likely thinking other cars on the road. But no, because of the encroachment of human beings into the road, the car is now sharing half of a lane. Meanwhile, the human beings, who are the landlords, have taken the other part. What are they doing? They are selling. That alone is a reason for any responsible government to do away with street trading. Public safety hazards. Besides the fact that you are dodging the person, the life of the person is also endangered. It's one thing to say, oh, the inconvenience of traffic. You know, at some point, just thinking about driving through Rumokoro was a nightmare. If I have to go anywhere and I have to drive past there, there's this... I feel depressed for a few seconds, like, oh, if only I could avoid that place. And I know there are lots of drivers that feel that way, simply because human beings have taken over the road. Well, after the break, we talk.
comot for wetin dem wan take, how dem wan take chop. No be if you afford this shop na almost 1 point something million.
Na here I dey try, I dey find the thing wey how many e no reach 20,000 naira thing wey I dey sell. Last year my daughter wey dey help me, im die for Lagos wey never marry.
Then they come dey never dey better. All thing wey dem do, as dem dey use their hand now comot this thing now, thing go hungry. Nothing like say man talk plenty.
I don't have any option. They want me to go on into prostitute. I don't have a man that take care of my children. He's out.
All right, so those are some traders operating illegally at different parts of the state, pleading with the council to reconsider the plans to evict them. And I was saying before the break, the reason why any responsible government would take the business of street trading seriously, especially if development is your goal. Now, the first, traffic obstruction. That's a real problem, right? Regardless of, like I said earlier, who you voted for, who you like or do not like, there is something about street trading that does not work well with the free flow of traffic. The second is the danger. Public safety to the driver and to the trader. Because we have all seen situations where, let me use pidgin, human being go dey drag road with motor. And most times you have to drive very slowly, honking, pee, you're just moving slow. It is frustrating. The third, which is also very important, sanitation and environmental concerns. Wherever you have people encroach like that, selling, that place is never clean. I dare you to show me anywhere where there's heavy street trading, encroachment on the road, that is clean. It never is. There are lots of reasons. It undermines urban planning. It's a breeding ground for crime. And many other reasons. So any responsible government will be concerned about sanitizing the environment and doing something about it. Now, the big question is, how should the government go about it? Because sometimes you also see those who come to enforce. They scatter, they throw, they push. I'm hoping that this government has a different approach. I believe they should be evicted. But what are the complaints of these people? We know if you rent shop too cost. Okay. Government needs to now respond and say, the alternative to street trading, which is ensuring that these people sell from designated locations where they don't disrupt traffic, mess up the sanitation, we have to meet them somewhere. But personally, this emotional blackmail, if you come out here, we'll go turn to arm robber, we'll go thief, if you get prostitute. They call me the opportunity for prostitution, just they open. Now, this granite where they said, now you hold me. That does not hold water, unfortunately. Because there are many people who have been in worse conditions that did not consider becoming criminals. While the government should be responsible enough to provide platforms, have plans, projects, and policies for those who might be off the street to make the business environment more friendly for them to operate differently. This idea that if I don't sell here, I will become a menace to society. I will sell my body. I go begin thief. I don't know why that narrative is even an option. Life is difficult, yes. But please, if development is what we claim we want to achieve, then some tough decisions must be made. Again, I'm not saying that the rights of people should be abused or violated. I'm not saying that the government should not have a human face, as we say. I'm saying there is need for some sanity. So the government and the people should meet themselves somewhere. How can you make the business environment friendlier so that as people are getting off the streets, they can still engage in something productive and feed their families without making a mess? Please, getting you off the street is not an invitation to prostitution. That particular one touched me. because it's emotional blackmail that will not work. In the wise words of whoever said it, if you must make an omelette, you must break an egg.
But this is no good because they get some people who say they depend for road to use do something. I wish that they say if they say before 4 o'clock, not everybody come out things for road. Everybody even there better than to start from early morning. If they change people come out for road, what they want to, how they want to chop. Now if you afford this shop now almost 1 point something million.
Here they try and they find how many you know this 20,000 and why they say. Last year my daughter where they help me, he die for Lagos. We never matter.
Then they come, they never do better. Always when they do, as they use their own now, come on, this now, to go hungry. Nothing like say man, talk plenty.
I don't have any option. They want me to go on into prostitute. I don't have a man that take care of my children. He's out.
All right, we go from there to the Wike situation that has refused to wane. That story has a life of its own. Yes, indeed. Well, this time the federal government has launched an investigation into the clash between the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike and Naval Officer Lieutenant A. Yerima over a disputed Abuja land plot. Defense Minister Mohammed Badaru praised the officer's restraint and assured protection for personnel on lawful duty. Retired military leaders, including former Army Chief Tukur Buratai, condemned Wike's action as disrespectful and warned that they undermine discipline, the chain of command, and institutional respect. Buratai did not end there. He took it a step further and urged the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to apologize to President Bola Tinubu, the Nigerian army, and the soldier involved in the recent confrontation. The call comes after video surfaced of Wike verbally confronting a uniformed officer during a restricted area incident in Abuja. We go from Buratai to other reactions trailing that action. Now, remember, it happened on Tuesday. 2 days later, people are still talking. 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi says a clash between Wike and the naval officer in Abuja reflects a deeper breakdown of institutional order in Nigeria. Obi described the incident as a national embarrassment that highlights the erosion of discipline, due process, and respect for institutions. He questions why security agencies are often drawn into civilian disputes and why public officials act beyond. Says the episode a reflection on leadership, civility, and the rule of law. He adds that rebuilding Nigeria requires stronger institutions, humility in public service, and a renowned respect for due process. I have to agree with Mr. Obi on this one, because in the defense of that land, why soldiers? That's not a question of who's right or who's wrong, but why soldiers? The job description, the function, the jurisdiction of a soldier is not the protection of a plot of land by any stretch. Even if the soldier says, I like protecting land as my hobby, this is not time to exercise it. So again, like I said, it's not about who did what. We need to start asking questions as to the actors and players in this particular movie. Do they belong in the movie? You cannot be Iron Man or Spider-Man that belongs in sci-fi and you're acting horror. That plot is not for that actor. There are still some reactions. Former Aviation Minister Osita Chidoka has criticized FCT Minister Nyesom Wike over his recent confrontation with a military officer in Abuja. Chidoka says Wike's decision to personally enforce a directive at a disputed site was a major error, arguing that power in a democracy should be exercised through institutions and not personal action. He insists that ministers must act through due process and lawful channels rather than direct confrontation. Chidoka adds that the minister's behavior and that of his security aides were unprofessional and undermined the dignity of public office. Finally, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale described Tuesday's confrontation between FCT Minister and Naval Officer Yerima over disputed land as unnecessary and avoidable. Speaking on Wednesday, that was yesterday, Matawale said Wike should have allowed military authorities to handle the matter. He said Yerima was acting under lawful orders from a former chief of naval staff, and he praised the officer for maintaining professionalism and discipline. It's amazing how the respondents are already taking sides. But I personally, and this is Samaroko's opinion, I personally align with Mr. Obi's position. about not who did what, but what it represents. The military getting involved in civil matters, that is a concern that everybody should be bothered by. Finally, before we take calls, and this is the interesting one, for all the right reasons, I am desperately invested in this story. House of Representatives have set up an ad hoc committee to investigate, wait for it, over 11,000 abandoned federal government buildings and properties nationwide. 11,000. And the value of these abandoned projects is more than 20 trillion naira. There should have been an effect to that. And just hold on, there has to be something. 20 trillion naira. Is there something I can play?
Chai, continue.
Okay. I like that. Is there any other effect?
Get right here, man.
Okay. What is this? I'm just playing effects now. I don't even know what they are.
Apostle, we hear of this.
Not just Apostle. Everyone needs to hear of that. What is this? $20 trillion naira worth of abandoned projects belonging to the federal government. You see, sometimes things happen and they connect to things that have previously happened so that they can bring you to a point of realization. It's like an epiphany. Something just opens up in your mind. And you're like, oh my goodness. I was having a conversation with the great Ignatius Chukwu, regional editor of Business Day newspaper. Of course, we all know Mr. Chukwu, financial policy expert, consultant when it comes to the economy and all things attached. And Mr. Ignatius said, even though these are not his exact words, but I would have to paraphrase, there is an inflation in corruption. How you know is when you start hearing the figures that they are stealing or what Nigeria is losing, you realize that it's getting bigger. I remember growing up when we all used to watch NTA News. I think that time Abacha was still around. There was this amazing newscaster. If you followed NTA, if it was a part of your childhood, you know this name I want to mention. Tokunbo Ajayi. Because we used to watch the news in my home. I didn't like it. My parents made me watch it, and eventually, well, maybe that's what shaped me into becoming a broadcaster. And Tokunbo was one of those many broadcasters in the NTA. You know, the professionalism was just top notch. They take the network news and they read headlines, and everybody just loved them because of how well they pronounce words. And I remember then, corruption used to be in millions. And when they come on TV, then you say, this one, so million. And that's 1 million. And there was one time my dad just made a comment, say, all these million, they are stealing. And then million used to be a lot of money. The federal government is doing this one with million. They are looking for this million. We say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have gotten to trillion in this our lifetime. We went from there to billion. In fact, billion at some point, if you are doing billion or tens of billion, you didn't even steal money. Later, you had to steal 200 billion. Say, this one thief. Now we have finally entered trillion. Why, for the love of everything pure under heaven, do we have a situation, a circumstance, an arrangement where there is a probe investigation over 11,000 abandoned federal government buildings, and the worth of it is 20 trillion naira. I'm not overblowing this, right? And this is a country that has to borrow every year to fund its budget. In a country where we have EFCC, ICPC, and all the C's that should check corruption. The million my father was shouting about when I was a boy. Now I've managed to become a man. I have seen trillion in my lifetime. My father is still alive, by the way. So that means if nothing changes in Nigeria, my son, what is after trillion? Somebody should help me, please. Just whatever it is, gazillion, quadrillion, any leon that follows trillion, we go still reach there. Because there's nothing stopping it. This is where we are. And I hope this is not one of those headlines that we just, the House of Rep have set up an ad hoc committee, a 7-man panel to investigate. And when they investigate, what happens? Are we going to get, are we going to have the result of that probe? Would we know what came out of it? Or would it be one of those headlines that just, they get one time, you get one time? It's time to take calls. But just because I can, let me play those sound effects again.
Chai, continue.
Okay.
Get right here, man.
Okay.
How fast do we hear of this?
Okay.
Here is God. Oh.
All right.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
My goodness.
Will you keep quiet?
And my personal favorite. The numbers to call 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. I'll take that again, but slower. 0817-923-0002. That's 3 zeros. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. Please turn off your radio as you call. The big stories we've taken so far. Street traders beg Obio-Akpor Council to halt eviction, citing hardship. The federal government probes the Wike and Naval officer clash. And reps launch a probe into a 20 trillion naira abandoned federal properties nationwide. My goodness. Call me and tell me. Let's see who is... Okay, I'm going to have to try to get this. Apologies. Okay, Cookie Gam from Mile 3 is my first call. Hello, Cookie Gam.
Sam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sam, the Yerima and former governor Wike. Sam, you see, where I blame the governor. He sent his boy to that side. His boy returned back to him that military men are mountains garrison there. What he should have done, take his phone, call the chief of defense staff. We'll see what happened. Call the president. This won't happen. He did not do those things, Sam. He gathered his voice and went to that side. That's why I blame him. The former governor has a very arsenal to pursue this case in the right direction. He took the law into his hand. Maybe he has the power. The law is there, Sammy. All of us, Nigeria is not a lawless country. We have the law. Go to court, take injunction, and stop the man from building that property. That's the way they fight. Sam, I'm a village man. What the government is fighting. In my village, where people get up for this and said, they are fighting each other. So the former government, I blame him totally. He's strong. So let him have to comport himself on the public place because there's no reason for that quarrel that day. There's no reason. What to go to that place? Will you go and fight? They have put us to go to that place. So the former government should learn how to conduct in the public places, Sam.
All right, thank you, Cookie Gam. I need to remind you that you have just a minute. I have two Emekas. The first should be from, is it Elele or Oweri? Okay, Oweri it is. Hello, Emeka.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Oracle, honestly, you see, this 20 trillion you mentioned, I had it yesterday. Exactly what is discussed last. Your last topic about this issue, how House Assembly will be transparent trophy this, and what will be the outcome at the end of the day? To tell you my mind before God and man, this what your last thought is what I thought about this thing. What will be the end result of this investigation? Even the type of people we have today in the National Assembly, not all anyway, some of them, the way they handle it, and they are all politicians. Every bill that comes from president is fast. No question, how did you use the money? You know that interest. All of them is fast. The same people is coming to quote 51 trillion. I doubt, anyway, let's wait for the result. On the issue of Wike, the last has not been hard. Was short to wait. Now he has fallen into the hand of military. Let us see whether we can manipulate the military to his own case. Let us wait. After the military will do about that. Thank you, God bless you.
All right, Emeka, that's a wise use of time. That's about a minute. Emeka from LLA, good afternoon.
Yes. Oracle, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Oracle, do you know that we are having problem of militant Boko Haram in northern part, where they are killing Christian and non-Christian every day? I wonder why. I don't know his name, Yarema. Yarema could have gone to Sabita Forest to show his professionalism, not in a civil matter. Go to Borno State, go to Sabita, practice what you are trained for. Which means this military is biased. Because the presidency appointed Wike as a minister. The minister that covers president covers his minister. Did army have the power to dive into civil matters? The prime minister is taking sides. They can, but in the recess, a retired officer is a pensioner, and a pensioner has the order to give the military. The former chief is a pensioner, and has directed them. Why must they collect order from a retiree?
Okay, Emeka.
Like eating his pension.
Thank you very much. That's just about time. The issue of street trading should not be compromised. There are many marks about federal government between Wike and Navy officer. What are they going to investigate? The federal government should better tell Wike to apologize to the military. Jackson from Iba says. That's interesting. Apologize, you say? Okay. FCT minister just himself for calling a military officer in uniform a fool. Just what himself? Since I was born, I've never heard or seen that a civilian called a military officer in uniform a fool. The use of foul language is misconduct under public service rule. I'm appealing to Obio-Akpor local government chairman to have a human face in handling these street traders. The economy is harsh as we have agboro scattered all over bus stops. So we have street traders scattered all over our roads. Country hard. Thank God ability at Weibo. Thank God you make a point, but I don't think any should justify any. The agboro should get off the streets and the traders should get off the streets as well for the purpose of sanity. On Abuja land drama, Michael says, see how land matter has exposed the character of certain people as an ethnic group, and the drama in Abuja yesterday has again revealed how bad things have degenerated. While I admire and salute the military general for differentiating his personality and office, I'm personally embarrassed to see a minister in Nigeria talking loosely as if he's addressing his followers in Port Harcourt. The untamed minister has become a loud embarrassment, not only to this government, but to River State. Wala calls from Oyibo. Good afternoon, Wala.
Good afternoon, Sam Oracle.
Afternoon, you have a minute.
Okay, the event between former Governor Nelson Wike and personnel is an example of what demarcating our society means. Sam Oracle, have you ever heard where any governor of the state interferes physically in land issues? We expected that former Governor Nelson Wike should have shown some level of administrative interference, not physical interference. The fact was that he wanted a situation where people will see him and they run away. That is the problem. When person begin to work with pride, you will begin to see some trace of errors in the life of that person. I am in tune with the security personnel, or the defense personnel. Let him tender apology to our uniform personnel. I want to tell people that are condemning this security personnel, remember that retired naval officer did not have any office to occupy, meaning that this personnel was signed out to go and work for him. You understand me? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. That's definitely about a minute. Christian calls from Port Harcourt. Hello, Christian. Good afternoon.
Sam, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Okay, Sam, on the issue of our abandoned project, worth of 20 trillion.
Only.
The question I have for these people, where are the people handling the project? Did they vanish from this planet? Where are they, and what really happened that make them to abandon those projects? Where are the money? Who is giving account of those money? And Tinubu is going on and borrowing money on daily basis. Borrowing money, and we are not seeing the impact of this money he's borrowing every day by day. Look at that kind of money you just mentioned now. I was even eating before I washed my hand. I said, let me ask this question. This is unbelievable. How can we continue like this as a country? They keep on borrowing money on daily basis, and the one we are borrowing, we are not seeing the impact of it. Everybody will just come and take their own and go, It's unfortunate, though. We need to do something about this whole thing. That's my take.
Thank you very much. Hello, Victor.
Okay, Canada.
It's Sam. Just go straight to the point because you have about 30 seconds. We have a break, so let me not take your time. Quickly, please.
Okay. This power tussle is embarrassing us in international space. This power tussle is getting out of place. It's embarrassment. Also today.
Oh, my goodness. Apologies, Victor. The call ended on its own. We'll take a break now, and when I return, I'll take more messages. Stay with us.